Jonathan Marshall, my number one to go-to guy for the NBA and college basketball, will join me now. John, the tournament has been hot and heavy. The NBA has been hot and heavy. What did you enjoy over the weekend about the tournament? What was your game to watch? And don't give me Duke UCF. That's everybody's.
First off, you said the mood with that Bobby Valentino, man. All right, I see.
Appreciate that, brother.
And man, my favorite game of the weekend. I mean, look, how can I not say UCF Duke? How can I not?
Oh, he took the easy way out.
Different. I'm going to take the easy way out. Sometimes the easy way out is the best way. You know what I mean? Look, listen. I mean, look. You had all the components in that game, right? Duke, one of the more hated, college programs in the country, right? I mean, I'm not the biggest Duke guy, so of course I'm personally rooting for UCF. Even though I have Duke in my Final Four, I'm not going to be mad if they get bounced a little early, right? You have Zion Williamson, a stud who's showing up. You have UCF coached by Johnny Dawkins, a former Duke player. You have his son balling out. You got Taco Fall. I mean, you had all the components of a great college basketball matchup, man. And just the way it ended, heartbreaking for UCF. Duke squeaked by there, man, but I got to give Johnny Dawkins and his guys a lot of credit for that, man. It definitely could have went either way. But that was obviously that was the most exciting game, I would have to say, this weekend.
Ja Morant is a guy that I'm very high on going into the NBA draft process. I've watched him all year, and a lot of people said that, okay, he's good, but he's not playing against real competition. This guy's game, I feel like, translates. First of all, he's a blur. I feel like he's a mixture of Westbrook, Iverson, Russell. Not saying that he is those guys, but in his game, when you see, he's got some Rondo in him too, the way he can see the floor. What did you see from Ja Morant this year, especially in the tournament? I know they got the doors blown off him against Florida State, but that wasn't on Morant.
No, it wasn't. I mean, what I saw is what we see in today's NBA game. Just that versatility, that positional versatility at that point guard spot. He can create for others. He can create for himself. He puts pressure on that defense to where, if you focus too much on him, he's going to find that open guy. He's going to give those guys an opportunity to make plays. And then his athleticism is off the charts. I mean, he's rising up on guys. He's quick. He has amazing length. The ball handling is special. I mean, he's just a special talent. And the competition thing, I think that should be deaded when you see guys like Steph Curry, who went to Davidson. You see a guy like Dame Lillard. He went to Weber State. So the competition should be deaded. If you're a talent, that talent is going to rise to the top regardless. And Ja Morant is special. And I hear a lot of Russell Westbrook comparisons. And you mentioned a guy who I haven't heard anybody say yet, but when I watch him, that's just it's the feeling that I get. It's AI. They're both lanky, they're both long, but they both will shock you with how athletic they are. I think Ja is more of he's a taller, probably a little more athletic AI to me. But that's what I get when I watch him, just that excitement. He's a blur out there on the court, and he makes plays that you didn't think would be possible. And so you put him on to an NBA court or an NBA team with other talented guys, with shooters, with more space in the pick and roll game. He's going to be dynamic. And so I think Ja fits right into what the NBA is looking for, especially at that point guard spot. So to me, he's a top 2 talent in this draft.
Wow. You saying he's more athletic? He's a little more athletic than AI. Remember, people forget that AI's early years, he was dunking over cats. I mean,
AI, yeah, he was maybe not more athletic, but he's just tall. He's just a little more taller. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's a little bigger. That's all.
I just had, how to clarify that.
Look, AI's my guy. AI's my guy. I don't know. Ja has that extra gear that guys like Russell and AI, guys like that have. So to me, he's in that class. So maybe he's on the same par athletically as AI. He's not as quick probably, but as far as leaping, Ja's up there. He's up there.
So if you have a top 5 right now on your NBA big board, if you're a GM, who is your top 5? I want to order too. I'm not letting you get out of that. I want to order 1 through 5. Hey. Who is your top 5?
Zion's number 1. Ja's number 2.
Here's where it gets tough.
3.
Okay.
see, a lot of people are iffy on this guy from Duke, but I really like Cam Reddish.
Okay.
He's just inconsistent. But I feel like his skill set with his size, he's smooth. His offensive moves are fluid. I feel like if he really dials in and he really works at it, he can be a star. I would put Cam Reddish at 4. The 5 spot is tough, man. This draft is. I'm gonna put Jarrett Culver from Tech at 5.
Okay.
I like what every time I watch him. I haven't been like a full believer, but every time even yesterday against Buffalo, every time I watch him, he's just making plays. He's just finding ways to score. He's not going to wow you with his athleticism, but he's just a solid player. So I'll put him at number 5.
The last couple years, we've had these guys who've gotten hurt, and they kind of fall down the lottery, and they usually have to wait a year or two. You had Harry Giles a couple years ago. Then you got Michael Porter Jr. this past year. I think this year Bol could be that guy because Bol was an interesting prospect. He had the height, and he was shooting threes as a center and blocking shots where you see that new age of centers. What do you believe about Bol? Do you think he's an NBA player, or do you think that his body won't be able to withstand the NBA?
That's tough to call. I mean, look, you can't teach height, right? So you have to give him a look. At worst, he's a rim protector. He's a defensive presence for the back line of that defense. Offensively, he's shown some things. From what I saw early in the year, he showed some promise. But what concerns me is his body. How is he going to withstand the daily grind of the NBA, playing against some physical specimens at that level? But if he somehow manages to get some strength, he's never going to be Zion. He's never going to be LeBron body-wise. But if he can somehow get stronger and develop his offensive skill set, maybe. Tom Maker has found a way to survive in the league and find a way to be productive in Detroit now. So I think somebody will take a chance on him just because of that height. And he's a fluid big man. He's not awkward. So that in itself gives me reason to say, okay, there may be something here. So will Bol have the impact that a Harry Giles has this year, finally coming back from injury? That's tough to say right now. The only thing that gives me concern is that thin frame. But, guys develop at different rates. Guys, you just don't know how a young guy, especially him, missing out on his freshman campaign, missing out on the developmental time. We don't know how his body will react to that. We just don't know. And he's not a Joel Embiid type player where you can see at Kansas that potential, that low post presence, the footwork, just that skill that can't be taught. I haven't seen that from Bol.
Talking to Jonathan Marshall, you can follow him on Twitter at JMarshallFox13. That's at JMarshallFox13. Man knows his hoops. Let's get into the NBA now. And when I look at the Boston Celtics, everyone and their grandmother told me how this team was going to be the best team in the East. Nobody was going to be able to stop them. Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving this, Jason Tatum that. And now you're looking at a team that could be facing the number 1 seeded Raptors in the second round if they take care of the Pacers. John, what happened to the Boston Celtics? And quite honestly, what do you see for them going forward?
I was wrong, too. I thought Boston would be the clear favorite in the East when you consider having Gordon Hayward back. We saw how Tatum played. We saw how Rozier played, having a healthy Kyrie. Look, all the cards said, okay, Boston is your pick. It was too easy. Maybe that I cannot front and say I didn't have them being number 1. And still, a part of me is saying when they're at their best, I still think they can make a run. I'm still not ready to give up on that Boston train. I'm not ready yet. But it's not looking too good because sometimes it's just I'm watching this team and something's missing, man. Obviously, Gordon Hayward is not the same. A lot of people expected Tatum. A lot of people crowned Jason Tatum last year, and I was a little like, let's hold off on that just yet. Let's not crown him fully yet. He's a talented young player, but let's not get carried away here. I don't think he's made that jump that people expected. So I think it's a chemistry issue, man. Something is really going on in that locker room that I thought Brad Stevens would be the type of coach who could figure it out, but this may be a tough challenge for him this year, man. Can they beat Toronto in the playoff series? Yes, they can. Toronto is not a perfect team by any means. So I still believe if Boston were to end up in the Eastern Conference Finals, would I be shocked? No, because the talent is there. If they're somehow able to just focus in, do this playoff stretch, they can get it done. They can get it done.
Well, let me rephrase that because I said Toronto. I meant Milwaukee. Milwaukee's number one right now. Milwaukee would be the second round matchup.
Okay. Now, to me, Milwaukee's the best team in the East. Obviously, Philly with their starting five, that's the best starting five in the East. But I still have questions as far as the chemistry, and I still have questions about Brett Brown. But Milwaukee, with how they surrounded Giannis with those shooters, and Marantz, and you have Middleton, and Brook Lopez is out here shooting threes like he's Klay Thompson. He's setting records for big men shooting. I like the makeup of that team, and I think Giannis is hungry. I think they have a system that everybody knows their roles, and they play it well. And when you have that type of chemistry, you have defined roles, and guys do it at that level. That's a dangerous component, and I think Milwaukee right now has the edge over these Eastern Conference teams.
All right, so just to phrase that, you think that Milwaukee would beat Boston. I know you're not hopping off the Boston train, but if they matched up, you think Milwaukee would beat Boston? If I had to pick,
I would have picked Milwaukee, yes.
Okay. So in my thoughts on the Eastern Conferences, I think the Sixers right now are the team that I would pick if they can get it right as far as chemistry-wise, because when I watch them against Milwaukee, I think they match up well. When I watched them against Boston, I think that was their one problem. But I don't know if Boston's going to make it to Philadelphia. Philadelphia takes care of business. So that's right. How I feel about that. When you look at the West and you look at the LeBron James Lakers thing, I talked about this last week where this is a new era in the NBA where LeBron might not be the guy to dominate it anymore because you got guys like Giannis, you got Durant, you got these Joel Embiid, you got these young guys that are coming in and kind of building and paving their way. Where does LeBron James fall in all this? Because even next year, if he gets stars, he might not be the number one guy, or it might not be wise to make him the number one guy.
Look, I mean, LeBron is getting – Father Time is undefeated, so I know we're used to claiming LeBron as the best player because that's what he's been over the last few years, and we're so used to saying it. But eventually, he has to move over. It happens to every great over the history, and it's okay. Entering this year, I felt like LeBron, we would start. I was telling people LeBron's going to hit a wall. It's going to come when you least think it's going to come eventually. And he's going to hit it, and he's going to hit it hard. And I feel like we're starting to see the early signs of that because, Mario Hezonja from New York is blocking this dude at the end of the game. Like, that wouldn't happen 2 years ago. I mean, there's certain things that I'm seeing from LeBron that it just shows you, age and just, injuries, it's catching up to him. And so, we look at the best players in the league, and even the players I want to watch, LeBron is not at the top of that list anymore. It's KD, it's Steph, it's Russell, it's PG, it's Giannis, it's AD, it's Joel Embiid. It's all these great young players that we have that are setting a new standard and that are, I think, taking over, as far as the faces of this league. And so when it comes to the Lakers, man, they're in a tough spot. You have young guys in Lonzo and Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram. We already know how the Lakers feel about them. They're ready to let them go at the drop of a dime. And so I feel like you have a culture in that locker room that's pretty bad, I would have to say. So I think they're in a tight spot because we all hear the reports about who wants to play with LeBron. So who are they going to get? And so I feel like they have a lot of questions to answer this offseason because if they don't get a big time guy this summer, I think you're in for a repeat of this year. Maybe not as bad, but you're not competing for a championship. You're not. And even if you look at it, let's say you do get a big name free agent, at what cost? You're probably going to give up Kyle Kuzma possibly, or Alonzo maybe. Let's say you do get an AD this summer, or what have you. Is that roster still competing with Golden State for a championship? I don't see it. So you have an aging LeBron. You have a guy in Lonzo and Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram who are still developing at their own pace, who I think LeBron in some ways may be stunting their growth, especially Alonzo Ball. What's the ceiling for that team? I'm not too confident in these Lakers with LeBron James competing for a championship.
All right. One quick question before I get you out of here, John, because I'm strapped for time. I want to get your opinion. How real is Denver?
I believe in Denver. They were a team that I felt like was on the rise last year. I want to see them in the playoff atmosphere. I want to see them in those situations. That's the only question that I have. But I feel like this team is one star wing away from really taking that championship step. But as far as this year, if they were to make the Western Conference Finals, I wouldn't be shocked. I like the makeup of this team. They can play inside. They can play outside. They can push that pace. They have solid guys coming off your bench. Monty Morris is one of the best backup point guards in the league, in my opinion. So then you have the Joker, one of the unicorns in this league. We know what Jamal Murray is capable of doing. I think Denver's real. I feel like they're just missing that one, like a Paul George type of guy on the wing. If they had that piece, I think we're talking about a championship contender team. But Denver is certainly real enough to make the Western Conference Final.
All right, thank you, John. And John, you can follow him on Twitter at JMarshall Fox 13. That's at JMarshall with a capital M and capital F Fox 13. You'll catch him with the AI jersey posting up like a
yes, sir. Got a rep.
He's the pound for pound goat. Appreciate you, John.
He is. All right, Dashawn.